Right, so I've got to fit a tow bar to an A6, so I thought I'd make a video just to kind of show you guys end to end how it's done. So number one, fitting the tow bar. Number two, fitting a dedicated electric kit. And number three, coding that electric kit into the car. So here's as good a place as I need to start. Majority of the stuff is off, but it's easy to show you guys what to do or how it comes off with most of the bits off. So first thing you need to do is remove the bumper, and it's 3 Torx bits, 1, 2, 3. Then there's 3 underneath, which is 1, 2, 3. Another 3 Torx bits on that side. Then you need to go inside the boot, same one in a Avant and a Saloon, and there'll be 2 10mm there, and then the 10mm bolt there as well. So 3 that side, and 1, 2, 3 that side. Once you've undone all of that, you just need to grab the bumper from the side and kind of gently yank it that way. Not too hard, but you need a little bit of resistance, a little bit of force to pull it back, and it needs to come back kind of just straight back, both sides, and kind of wiggle it around, and it will just come off. Then once you've got the bumper off, you need to take some of the inside trim off. Unfortunately, the car's up in the air, but I'll wait till I get it back down to show you that. But it's kind of these side trims, which basically the Torx bits up there that you remove, and then you can pull that to one side just enough to move the trim over so you can get to the 2 bolts which hold the bumper bar on. Once you've got both sides out the way, you remove the 2 bolts, and then the bumper bar, which is this aluminium here, that comes right out. Now, at this point, you make a decision as to whether you want to remove the exhaust. Either way, you're going to have to drop the exhaust down to get to this hole here. Now, on the factory bumper bar, it's bolted in via these 2 holes here, which correspond to these 2, these 2 holes here. On the Westfalia tow bar, you actually bolt it there and there. You might ask, well, there's no bolt there. Well, they supply you in the kit this kind of adapter plate thing, which sits on there like so. Now, the decision you need to make is whether you want to do it the easy way or the hard way. Obviously, that depends on what facilities you've got. If you've got the ability to get up in the air or some ramps or something, it doesn't have to be a lift. But I think personally this is the easier way, and that's to drop the exhaust off. Now, if you don't drop the exhaust off, you've got to lower the exhaust and then kind of faff around, try to get in under the heat shield to get to that. Can be done, but I think it's more effort than it's worth, because you've got to drop the exhaust anyway, which means removing these two brackets to drop the exhaust on both sides. So you might as well go to the middle of the car and do the same thing, drop the 2 brackets at the front, and just slide off the exhaust clamp, and the whole thing comes out. So it's quite light actually. I was actually surprised because it looks like a bit of a unit, but it's actually quite light. Then you can remove the heat shields completely out the way, and what you're left with is a nice clear view of what you need to work on. Now, the kit comes with, again, these 2 kind of plates, and these with 2 drilled out holes. They correspond to 2 holes which you can't quite see, but there's one there and there's one there. So all you basically need to do is put it in there, rivet it on, and that holds it in place. The rivets aren't structural, they're just literally to hold that plate in place. Once you've done that, you can put the heat shields back on, put the exhaust back on, fit the Westfalia tow bar, and that's kind of it. Then you can start reassembling. So what I'll do is I'll get that on, and I'll kind of show you the process of that and update you in a second. Right, that's it riveted in. One on the driver's side and one on the passenger side. So what I'm going to do now is put the heat shields back on, then I can put the exhaust back on. Okay, heat shields are back in, and as you can see, there is already a cutout in the factory heat shield for that kind of extra brace support for a tow bar. I think it's something to do with the heavyweight tow bar. So the bumper bar already needs the first 2, but if you could put in a tow bar, it needs the extra one. So anyway, nice and simple. Now let's put the exhaust back on. Exhaust is back on now. So as I said, it's quite simple to actually get the exhaust off, because it is literally just that join there. Drop it there and there. Remove this little brace. Same things there, exhaust clamp either side, and the whole lot just kind of drops and pulls out. So now we can get it back on the ground and fit the Westfalia tow bar. Right, just to go over what needs to come out to get the bumper bar and stuff out. So obviously spare wheel out, this the battery, kind of the rear boot floor needs to come out, both side pockets, the holder for the jack, and the holder for the kind of tools needs to come out. That gives you access in the corner, and apologies the light's not great, but that gives you access to the bolts to get the bumper off on that side, and same thing on that side. You can get in there to get those 3 10mm, and that's all that's needed. I've taken this trim panel off, that's to aid with the electrics, but other than that, that's kind of it. So I'm just going to slide this in now and get it bolted down. So that's the bolt at the back, and then that's where the second bolt was in the original bumper bar, but you don't need that now. And then this is the new one, which was riveted from the bottom. So there'll be a bit of tape over it, you just need to rip that off and you'll see the hole. Put a bolt through it and you're good to go. Just torque them up and that's it. I forgot to mention also, when I took the bumper off, I literally just unclipped all the reverse sensors. I think there's a method of unplugging it over here and feeding it all back through, but I couldn't figure it out, so that was just as quick. So now I'm just going to finish torquing that down, and then I can get the bumper back on and then work out how much I need to cut of the bumper so the tow bar will fit, and the electrics, etc, etc. So let's crack on with that. Bumper's back on temporarily, just to make sure everything fits. So you have to cut a reasonably big hole in the bottom of the bumper, but you can't see it from kind of standing height, if that makes sense. It's kind of called an invisible cutout, so when the car's on the floor you don't really see it unless you stick it under the bumper. So tow bar slots in like that, and then the electrics come down like so. And that's it. Obviously before putting the bumper back on, you can start to feed the electrics through by just fitting the socket, and there's a hole which you can't see. Let me see if I can get a light. There you go. There's a hole up in there which normally has a grommet in it, so you just push the grommet through, run the cabling through. This Westfalia kit comes with a grommet attached to the wiring, so it's all nice and neat, all nice and OEM. So now I think I'm good to put the bumper back on properly, and then start a task of routing the wiring up into there and starting the job of connecting it all up. Right, we're on to the wiring now. As I mentioned, I'm using a Westfalia dedicated electrics kit for an A6. So what I've done is I've routed the cabling in through, there's a bulkhead there, up along this trim panel, underneath there, which leads into here. I've run it round, and then it just connects into the Westfalia control unit, which you can just see if I can sort of light out, which is that black connector block there. The actual Westfalia control unit literally just slots into a little housing which is already there on the A6 Avant. I think because it's an OEM kit, all the kind of houses and plugs and stuff are already there, so it's all quite easy. So anyway, that one plugs in, and that's just from the tow bar electrics. The next one is a separate loom, which again you plug into the control unit, and then it just loops up, and that's what you start connecting into this fuse box here. So primarily what you need to do is that blue connector block, you need to remove the connector from it and then back out. I think it's 4 in total, the pins. I'm not going to tell you what colours and stuff they are, what numbers, because your kit might be different or your vehicle might be different to this. So, but anyway, the instructions tell you what to do with that in terms of what pins and what the wire colours are. So either way, you back them out and then you put them into these black and white connectors, which is provided in the kit. and then in the spare slots which are now there from the ones you've taken out, you connect the wires that are off that second loom into them. So it's almost like it's bypassing it. And then you need power. So there's a second fuse box, which is this brown one here. There's a black one to the left and then a brown one to the right. You need to remove this, which is a bit of a ball ache because you need to basically unbolt this whole panel, and it doesn't come out the front, it backs out the back, so you need to push it and then lift it over the top. But basically, again, this second loom has got 3 pins which just go into holder 11, 12 and 13, which provide power to the control unit, and I think the 13 pin for the trailer electrics as well. And that's it. So I'm just going to finish kind of neatening those up and connect them in the right place and just double checking, and then I will give you an update. Right, okay, here's the fun part. We're going to start to code the module, the tow bar module into the vehicle. So when you first turn the ignition on, you do get this warning for tow bar. So that is actually a fault code. I believe the CAN network is recognizing the module for the tow bar, but it's not coded in yet, so it's throwing up a fault code. And just for reference, if you do have parking sensors, this is the view you get without the tow bar being coded. So it's just a picture of the vehicle and obviously the sensors front and rear. When you code the tow bar in, you do get a nice little picture of a tow bar behind it, and in essence the rear parking sensors are disabled. So you need VAGCOM. I think you can use other diagnostic tools. I have VAGCOM, so that's what I'm using. So first thing we need to do is to tell the car that there is a tow bar installed. So select control module, and we want to go to the CAN gateway. This is basically the installation list for all the modules which are installed in the vehicle. So we click on installation list, which is just there, and that brings up all the modules. So we scroll down until we can see trailer, and then we go 69 trailer. So click on that and then save coding. I'll just try and zoom in a bit so it's a bit easier for you to see. Save coding. Coding accepted. Okay. Okay, close and go back. Now we need to code the engine ECU. Now again, it depends on what year and what vehicle you have, but from what I've read, if the coding is a short description, you don't need to add anything for the tow bar. If it's a long description, then maybe you do, and I think there's 2 potential engine control modules that you need to update. But it gives you this helper which basically tells you what the short code is, and as you can see there's nothing there for tow bar, so we can skip this. Cancel that, go back, and then let's try, as we've installed the trailer, we can code the trailer. So again, number 69 trailer, 07 for coding, and there's this long description. So if we use the long coder helper, that should tell us what we're working with. So 01, the first kind of block number 01, you've got the options of not coded, rest of the world, North America or Australia. As we're in the UK, I'm going to leave it as number 1 for rest of the world. The next block on is currently set at 03, mechanically tilting. Now I believe the factory option on the A6 was a kind of a mechanically tilting sweeps down tow bar. So this isn't, this is a detachable one, so I'm going to go with 00, so fixed, manually removable. And then the next one along is also 03, so that's again still saying mechanically tilting, so I'm going to change that to 00 for fixed, manually removable. So in essence, the coding was 01 03 03 00 00 00 00 00. I've now changed it to 01 00 00 00 00 00 00 00 00. So if I exit there, you'll see up here the previous coding and down here the new coding. So you just click on do it, code accepted, and that's now done. So again, close control and go back. And now we can have a look at the brakes, ABS, see if there's anything in there that needs to be coded. So again, short description. Okay, so what it's saying is you need to add to the code 16384 if it's without trailer hitch, without towing recognition control module. So if you don't have a towing control module, you add that number. But obviously, as we've fitted a control module, we now need to take that number away. So we need to, this is the number we've got, and we need to deduct 168, whatever it was. Let's have a look what that number was. 16384 from that number. So the number should be, let's get my phone out and do the calculation. That should change to 4492. And we'll just double check that before we click yes. 0004492. So we click do it, coding accepted, close control and go back, and then we want to code in, because this is fitted with park assist and a backup camera, we need to code those two as well. So we'll start with the park assist, which is the parking sensors. Go to coding, and as you can see, it's got this little helper on the side. Now the only thing that relates to tow bar is this one here, which is a third digit along in terms of the code. So it's saying if you've got a trailer hitch installed, it's a 1. If you've got a rear camera, it's a 2, and as you can see, third digit along, it's 2. So which means that this car is fitted with a rear view camera, which it is. So to add the trailer to that, 1 plus 2 equals 3. So I need to change that 2 to a 3. So it adds in both of these two modules. So we'll go from 0221116 to 0231116, and we'll do that. Coding accepted. Go back, and then we'll do backup cam. Back to coding again, and the little helper here, so it's saying first digit is Audi, and then it's a 0, so the third digit along, it's a 2 for optical parking system installed, which is what this is, so we need to change it to a 3. So we'll close that. As you can see, the third digit along is a 2, so I need to up that to a 3, and that will include the trailer. So do it, coding accepted, close controller, go back. Right, the trailer is now connected, so I can show you everything working. First thing to note is the orange warning light for the tow bar has now gone out, which is always good. Next thing is the indicators. So now when you indicate, you get 2 flashing lights. One is for the vehicle, which is the one on the left, and then the one in the middle is actually for the trailer. So if I indicate the right, you see it does that. So that one in the middle is the trailer. So I'm assuming if that's out, it's telling you that there's a an issue with some of the indicators on the trailer. Right, next thing is the reverse parking sensors. So as I mentioned earlier, when the tow bar is connected, you get this picture of a tow bar and trailer on the actual screen. Also, the front parking sensors are still engaged, but the rear ones are now disabled because obviously it's sensed that there's a trailer connected. So that's it. So just a quick recap then. So we added the trailer to the CAN gateway installation list. We then coded the ABS module, we coded the trailer, we coded the reverse cam, and we coded the parking sensors, and that was basically it. So it's quite straightforward. So as always, thanks for watching, and if this has been of some use to you guys, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll catch you up in the next one. Cheers, bye.